Okay, here's the second part of addressing what another YouTuber has stated about my channel. Before I go into it, I just want to play you this that I found on Instagram because I think it's quite important for all people to actually have a listen to.
Honesty is the rule and honesty is the exception. When you have political leaders who do not demonstrate honesty, when you have people lying to you constantly on television, on the radio, in the movies, it's all a lie, and everybody just gets used to the lie as a way of life, then honesty as a concept is very outmoded and archaic, and nobody wants to be an honest guy anymore.
This all forms part of conditioning, and let's be clear about this. If people are presented on the media and are presented as being an authentic source of information, and those people are lying to you, purposefully lying to you as part of somebody's agenda, they are abusing you. That is a form of abuse. Most people will not understand that that's an abuse because they've not been told. They don't realise what constitutes abuse. But make no mistake, that is an abuse. Go and do your research, go and educate yourself. We are all being abused by controlled media who condition us with their controlled narrative, the version of events that they want us to believe, the set of values that they want us to accept. That is an abuse.
Or because if you're honest, then you're going to finish last. You know, the good guy's finishing last. And this is bad. I just think that it's disgusting.
See, I would hate to believe that.
You can hate to believe it, but if you don't believe it, you're a fool. Maybe you could come up with a statistic balance that would show that maybe 51 or 52% of the people are honest and 48 are shady. But the few that really control things are not honest, and they count for more votes. I think the proof of that is the way the country operates. And I don't think that most of the people who head up businesses are honest, and we're letting them do it because we're not honest enough to face up to the fact that we are owned and operated by a bunch of really bad people. The tendency today is to just gloss over it. You know, the desire for escapist activities is really at quite a peak now. And media likes to accommodate that desire. And the more you can escape from how horrible things really are, the less it's going to bother you, and then the worse things get.
But don't worry, everybody. We've got the next Grand Prix to look forward to. Don't you worry, your little heads. Anyway, let's get into breaking down some of the things that were said. Now, this is where Wonderful goes on to talk about other content creators. Now he talks about FF1 like this.
FF1. His agenda is for you to hate white people. That's all it comes down to. He blames them for everything. Oh yeah, white people this, white people that. Can you imagine if there was a white content creator blaming black people for everything? Do you think I would ramp with them? Do you think I personally would ramp with them like Fix is ramping with him?
Now I'm being accused of ramping with FF1. Now, personally, I'm not aware of any time I've ramped with F1. FF1, if I've ever ramped you, I offer you my sincerest of apologies. And if you've ever ramped me, well, it sounds painful. I hope I've not been drugged and that has happened. But in any case, I don't know the language that these youngsters use these days. FF1 is mixed race to my knowledge. And yet Wonderful is saying that he's got an agenda to condition us all to hate white people. Rather strange.
Because when he's blaming all white people, that includes your family. That includes your family too. He's not differentiating and saying this XYZ is just elite white people that own corporations. He's saying all white people effectively. And if you aren't calling them out, you're part of the problem too.
So, FF1. Let's just go to FF1's channel. FF1. He produces content that many people will become offended by. Okay, because it does challenge people's way of thinking. I find it extremely valuable. I find it very amusing because he often does it in a tongue-in-cheek manner, but he does things in a way which get us to challenge our beliefs in things, gets us to challenge the way we think that we have knowledge about a situation. Let's all be quite clear about this. The knowledge that we think that we have Where did we get it from? Who taught us that? How authentic is that? We need to challenge what it is we think that we know. Because if we're not doing that, we're fools. We actually need to recognise that a lot of the information that we've been fed is the version of events that somebody wants us to believe happened. And often, the version that we get is the version that is created by those who won. In any war, the version of events is the version that the winners of that war want to tell the people. Oh, this is what happened, everybody. So this is why we did this, and now we've won. What about the other side of the story? Oh, you don't get to hear that, do you? You get to hear one version of events, one version of history. The way that they tell you it. The way that they tell you, oh, we needed to do this because they were the enemy. They were the problem. And therefore, we're the good guys in all this. We all need to challenge that, because this is something that goes on in the world all of the time. Okay? And what FF1 does, sometimes with Formula 1 content, but sometimes with just general content, is he talks about subjects like that. And like I say, personally, I find it both entertaining, but also extremely valuable in making me question my own understanding on certain things that he talks about. And it's evolved my understanding over the period of time that I've been subscribed to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description box of this video, and for those of you that wish to, please go along and check it out. Those of you that will appreciate it will subscribe. Those of you that don't, won't. It's what it is. What I will say about FF1 and the notion of ramping with him, I'm sure he can offer everybody an incredible ramp, but he has promoted my channel on occasions, which I do appreciate. The way that I hoped this campaign for justice and the exposing of the true reality of Abu Dhabi 2021 would work would be that people that were like-minded could help spread the message and work collectively as a team to accomplish that. I didn't even want to produce this YouTube channel myself. I hoped to be able to make contact with established YouTubers who were willing to call out the wrongdoing of Abu Dhabi 2021 and inform of the things that I could bring to the presentation so that they could present it. They could have been the people that they already had a platform of 10,000 subscribers plus. There were two channels I went to, Wonderful being one of them, but neither channel was willing to do that. I didn't want anything for it. I didn't want any return. I didn't want any share of channel revenue. I just wanted to present to them, said, okay, I appreciate your content. I appreciate that you are the people that were calling out the wrongdoing, but this can enhance what it is you are saying to inform people of this, because everybody is missing these key points. Everybody is missing this information. We've all been lied to. This is the truth of the situation. And both of the channels that I approached, neither one was interested in listening to me correctly or willing to present what it was that I then had to make up my own channel to then present. And there's been certain channels, it's the smaller channels, that have actually then tried to amplify the signal in terms of trying to enable more people to view the videos that I make. And FF1 is one of those, and I'll always be appreciative of that. The other two channels that have been that played a similar role are NSNC, now called F1 Unfiltered News, Sport and Content, and I will leave a link in the description box to their channel as well for you to go over and check out some of their content. And likewise, if you like what you're listening to, please support them by subscribing to their channel as well. And the third content creator that has also boosted this channel in terms of mentioning it on their channel and informing people of its existence is Boy Tendo. Now, it's ridiculous that he's only got 429 subscribers, but I know that he does delete fools. So if you are just a troll, don't bother, because he's just going to delete you. He will block you from accessing his content, or block you as soon as you start making foolish comments, because he doesn't need that. I keep you here because for various reasons, which will become clear. I keep saying that, but it will become clear eventually. So on his channel, there's a video that he did about 2 years ago called The Fledgling Monoculture, and it's a video that will stand the test of time, and I would implore you all to go and watch that. And again, if you like what you hear there, show me some support by subscribing. Now, there was another channel that has amplified my signal. This is Lex F1, and I do appreciate it, Lex, and to be fair, from what I've seen of your content, you seem like a really nice guy. But sadly, the content that you're currently producing is not something that I'm interested in. You've gone down the route of becoming a Formula One YouTuber, which is generally speculating about things, giving your opinion about things, and asking people what their opinion about things is. And for me, I don't value that, and I don't feel that I want to put my time into watching that sort of content. Okay. But like I say, you appear to be a decent guy. I wish you well in what you do, but that isn't the kind of content that I'm finding valuable, or is adding to a campaign seeking for exposure of the wrongdoing in the anticipation of achieving justice. So, like I say, Boy Tendo, FF1, and NSNC are the channels that have been the channels that I would have liked to have see as being a team to expose the wrongdoing and seeking justice. Like I say, there was larger channels that I would have loved to have been the key players in all of this. The large channels already had audiences of in excess of 10,000 subscribers, and the information could and should have spread a lot quicker to a lot more people when it's broadcast from a channel that already is that size, rather than me having to spend over a year on getting to a channel size of just 1,000 subscribers. You know, a lot of this information could have been put out a lot sooner. But unfortunately, everybody does have their agendas and their own motives, and it is what it is. So anyway, we'll just go back to things that were said in this video. Oh, and that remark about FF1's agenda of getting everybody to hate white people. Wonderful has gone on and made a video at some point to apologise for that. However, it's still stated in this video. And somebody only watches this video, that is the impression that they will get. If they don't get to see the apology, then what? You are making statements about somebody which are not nice at all and not a reflection of the truth. So I would suggest that you edit this video and edit that particular section out. Anyway, we'll see what else he's got to say.
What's that? Again, do you think if someone was saying that about all black people, I would have any time for it? No. Cameron F1. Cameron F1 wants to make money. He wants to grow his channel as big as possible. That's all he cares about. That's why he avoids sensitive subjects, unpopular things, XYZ. That's his agenda, to grow his platform, to make money. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely, and it's working, isn't it? Cameron F1's up to about 50,000 subscribers. Has linked up with Peter Winsor. You know, Peter presents himself as an expert in Formula One with all the credentials. But again, what they won't do is talk about what's wrong with Formula One. They won't go against the narrative. They won't challenge the system. They'll just comply. And it works. If your agenda is to make money, then that's the way of doing it. But certain people will value that content, others won't. I don't. Okay, we can many of us have got the ability to observe what is really going on. I don't need to listen to what Cameron's saying about it to understand what's going on. I can see all that going on. He's not pointing out the things that are wrong that he needs to point out. He can give his opinions about things. He can pretend they've got insider information, which it's debatable. But the refusal to talk about things that are absolutely ruining the sport, because it might upset some people or it might lead to the sport essentially, or YouTube essentially shadow banning them, restricting channel growth and views on videos and therefore income, well, that's where your agenda is, isn't it? The problem is, anybody such as Cameron, such as Wonderful, such as all of the other large YouTube channels that talk about F1, you start making content that is talking about Formula One and you are misinforming people about things, which they all did about Abu Dhabi 2021. Wonderful was one of the few that talked about Abu Dhabi 2021 at the time and in the year afterwards in anywhere near the right manner. The likes of Cameron F1 and the bigger YouTube channels, they didn't know. You know, they didn't know the answers. They had to ask the question, did Michael Massey make a mistake? Do the regulations allow Michael Massey to have overriding authority? Could he have restarted the race with the safety cars in situ? Did Max deserve to win? All the bullshit. They all did that. Not a single one of them could just drill down to the basics, the facts, the rules, and just say, well, this is wrong, this is why it's wrong, and this is why you need to carry out that regulation. Quite simple. The governing body. Why, as a governing body, can you not identify that? Why, as a governing body, can you not state that to the world? Why, as the media, the experts, why can't you identify that? Why can't you state that to the world? Why is everything a cover up here? Why do all the media presenters, even before it happened, present, oh, this is a possibility, that's a possibility, what's he doing now? Yeah, it's all an illusion, it's all a lie by paid media presenters. But if your agenda is just to make money out of it, then Cameron's doing it the right way. What a lot of people will be upset by with Cameron is Cameron's one of those who speaks with a forked tongue. Okay, he'll claim that he's a Lewis Hamilton fan and then not call out the wrongdoing of those who do wrong against him, and actually go along with the narrative of pretending that the presented one as being the greatest ever is the greatest one ever. Okay, so when you attract part of your audience by appealing to those who feel that you are speaking their language in terms of speaking about the things that and the issues that are important, and then you then go on to kind of do a 180 and say the reverse, or basically go against what you were originally saying that attracted that audience, people are going to feel betrayed by that. And ultimately, many do by the content that Wonderful is now creating. Wonderful will have attracted an audience of around about 12,000 subscribers due to him being willing and able to talk about Abu Dhabi in a manner that resonated with many people, because he was one of the few channels able to call out the wrongdoing at the time and in the year afterwards for what it was. I've enhanced that on the grounds of being able to expose information about it that he was missing, but he's not been willing to take that on board and to present it. Okay, he sees me as a rival as opposed to a teammate, and I don't see why that should be. He'll no doubt, he may never watch this, it doesn't really matter. He would claim otherwise. That's his ego, that's his pride, and it'll be a case of he doesn't even, I don't even register on his radar, he doesn't care. Okay, but ultimately, you in this world, you should always look to learn, and if somebody can enhance your understanding of something, which my content would have done, that's what he should have been willing to do. But he'll claim that it is of no value, so he doesn't care about it. But it is what it is. People have all got their own characteristics.
And who else should we do? Robotboy. Let's do Robotboy last. Now, Robotboy's...
No, it calls Robotboy. It was originally Espinala 44, changed its name to something else. Can't think what it is off the top of my head. I've tried to signal boost Espinala 44 because I saw a few videos where he was talking about Abu Dhabi in the correct manner in terms of calling out how wrong it was, and again in this notion of preferring to be part of a team of people that were speaking about things, trying to campaign in the right manner of those that are calling it out correctly. I was trying to direct people over to that channel to say support that channel as well. Sadly, from what I've seen of late, is the content being produced by that channel is I don't feel it being of that much value. It's making videos for the sake of making videos, it seems, and I don't feel that they're of any value. I saw one a few days ago, and it was relating to active suspension, and the images of the cars that were being used weren't from the era. And this, look, he's a 22-year-old lad, and it feels to me that although he's got ability for somebody that age, don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to be condescending in just saying that his age is an issue, but with greater years can come greater experience, and you might look back and do things differently. What YouTube does to people is that YouTube almost makes content creators behave a certain way. Because unless you're producing content on almost a daily basis, your channel just drops right off. The number of views just completely drops right off. Your number of subscribers stops growing. In fact, it can start decreasing. And it feels like then when you release a video, it takes 2 or 3 videos to then reignite your channel again and trying to then get the views of each video up to a reasonable number, so people are actually seeing what it is you're trying to inform them of. And it feels to me like Espinala 44 has gone into this. He's feeling like he's having to comply with the expectations of YouTube in order to achieve what he's seeking to achieve, which will be channel growth, number of subscribers, and number of views. Obviously, that creates an income. Okay, but like I say, he's only 22, and you know, some of us have got pairs of underpants that are older than that. You know, the brown and yellow ones. So you've got to cut him a bit of slack. I don't know what the beef between Wonderful and him was in the first place, but like it is what it is. People will be subscribed to channels, and they'll then decide whether that sort of content is for them. Now, Wonderful does go on to say something else. Now, let me just skip to that bit. We'll play it from here.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna, like I said, argue with you, but what you need to do is give people their space to give their opinion and not be so combative, because no one is doing that to you. You'll never...
Don't be combative, everybody.
Ever find me on someone else's platform like Fixed, aka Fixated, crying about his content like he comes to mind like, oh, don't say that if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, shut up. Respectfully, shut up. Do you know what I mean? Stay on your...
Respectfully, don't be combative, everybody.
Your platform and talk about what you want to, and I'll stay on my platform and talk about what I want to. I don't come to your platform. Why? There's nothing there for me. There's nothing there for me. Yeah? Everything that you're telling me, everything that you're saying, I know. You're not telling me anything new. Cameron F1, I don't...
Okay, so again, just to address that, I did subscribe to Wonderful, and I did so because I valued his content. I valued the manner that he was speaking out about the injustice of Abu Dhabi, but over time, I've witnessed the change in what he produces, and I don't value that. So I've done the decent thing in saying, okay, I'm not going to troll his channel, I'm just going to walk away, okay? And so that'll be it. That will be it. Now, ultimately, this can be an example to the trolls, okay? If you don't like the content, then you don't have to remain subscribed and you don't have to troll. You don't have to continue commenting on it, okay? I made a comment on one of Wonderful's recent videos whereby he was making a comparison between the incident between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen at Silverstone, the incident between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen at Monza 2021, and this year's Hungarian Grand Prix. And it was utter tripe. Now, what I'm going to do is actually do a video about that and evidence what it is I'm going to say. Now, the reason that I left that comment on Wonderful's channel was because when you project information, it can be damaging. And the information he was projecting is damaging. What it is validating something which is both wrong and it's untrue. And by somebody affirming that notion, it will affirm certain people's beliefs. That is damaging. So if you're putting yourself forward as a media presenter, if you're presenting something to the world, it needs to have authenticity and it needs to have, back it up with evidence. Otherwise, what you're doing, you are conditioning people's minds to believe something that could be highly inaccurate and therefore misinform people's beliefs. And that is a damaging nature of you projecting something like that Wonderful. So I called it out. And not only will I call it out, I'll do a video to evidence what it is that I'm saying, that you will not be able to refute. So, he probably won't watch this, but what's important here is responsibility. Understand what your values are, understand what it is that by presenting information on video form or whatever form you're presenting it, comes with it a responsibility. And if you can't inform people in the correct way, you shouldn't be doing it. Because certain people will be listening to the content and will use that as their education. And if you're miseducating people, then you're not good enough to educate. Now, many of us do the best we can to inform in the best way possible. We're not perfect, okay? Occasionally we make mistakes. That's not by intention, and where we realise that a mistake has been made, we attempt to apologise for it and explain where we've gone wrong to therefore make people aware that you've been informed of something, it's not correct, this is the correct thing that you need to understand. That's what we can attempt to do. But just having an agenda of just trying to please people and appease those that have actually been the ones that were trolling you, actually being the ones that were ridiculing your channel, actually being the ones who are actively doing their best to suppress your channel, and now they're the same people who you are trying to appease. They're the same people that are now there in your comments section trying to egg you on and boost you, validate you. They're now hitting the like button. Yeah, they like this now. Really, they're not your friends. You know, trying to claim that you're the person that's trying to bring peace. You're not. Okay? There are other people subscribed to this channel. There's probably 90% of them, 95% of you that are subscribed to the channel. That if we ever met in real life, I'm sure we'd have some decent conversations, and I'm sure that for many people, friendships would be formed. You know, we'd be able to talk about things in a reasonable manner, agree on many things, disagree on a few, but that's healthy, that's fine, okay? but be willing to understand each other's point of view and perspective. That's what it should be about. It's 5 to 10% of them that are just turds of human beings. I've got no interest in interacting with these people. These people purposefully come here for conflict. They purposefully come here to undermine, discredit, and try and create conflict and unrest. They get off on that. Absolute turds of human beings. I'm not interested in these people. I'm not interested in seeking peace with these people. You never will. Okay, people like that, they get off on conflict. They're turds. They've got no interest in peace. They just want to disrupt. They're not interested in solving anything unless it's their way. But their way is for their desires. It's not about justice. It's not about what's right or wrong. They're not interested in that. This channel wouldn't exist if things were okay. If things were valid, this channel wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be here giving you my opinion on what might happen in the next Grand Prix. It's not about that. Plenty of people willing to do that, and I'm not. Any videos that I make that don't focus on Abu Dhabi are really there just to try and increase channel exposure so that more people get to see what I'm trying to say about Abu Dhabi. I wish I didn't have to do that, but sadly, again, YouTube makes you have to do certain things, otherwise your channel dies a death. So, we're all victims of that. Anyway, that'll do on this video. I'm going on too long already, so thank you for your time, and I think when I get the chance, one of the up-and-coming videos will be a comparison of Silverstone with Monza, with Hungary, and with Anthony Davidson's version of the new rules that they now have, where he explains that to the viewer, and we'll apply those rules to each of those incidents and see who's at fault in each of those incidents. Thanks for your time.